Today I'm making pasta bowls. I call these my signature pasta bowls because they help me define my style as a potter. As a maker of functional objects, our style as a potter is not always obvious, but understanding some of the characteristics that make your pots uniquely yours can help you develop a style that is identifiable in a crowd. I'm preparing 1.2 kilos of clay. I'm using this beautiful speckled mid-fire clay again. Even my choice of clay informs my style. I love a clay that has some character and a little grit. So I take my clay and I start to center. So why these bowls in particular? I think largely because I've made many of these and I always enjoy making them. I think it has something to do with repetition and ease. That is, when you can easily make an object, there's a freedom in how you express yourself in the making of the object. So now I flatten out the clay. I'm using my hands here to measure how far out I bring my clay. This is simple measuring that saves me fiddling about with a ruler or calipers. So now I push down and I'm ready to open out into a bowl. So opening up for a bowl is slightly different to opening up for a cylinder. The base is not completely flat. As I come out, I'm bringing the base up into a curve as I get to the outer edge. I use a sponge to compress the base. And now I want to bring the walls up pretty much to their final height before I start to shape. In terms of uniformity, I'm trying to get the sizing as close as I can. I'm not too worried about some minor variation from bowl to bowl. They are, after all, handmade, and I want them to still have that feel. And now I bring the walls out into their final bowl shape. The bowls I make tend to be very rounded, and then I finish in smooth. A final stylistic expression is the swirl I add to the center of the bowl. And then I soften the swirl just a little for functionality. And that's it, my pasta bowl. I trim around the base, and then wire through and set aside. And now to trim. So here I'm going to add a slight foot ring. Trimming itself requires stylistic choices. So I flip my bowl and center. Then I make sure my bowl's attached. And then I measure and mark out my foot ring. And then I start to trim around the outside. Even trimming a foot ring is about stylistic choices. This one's simple. So this foot ring is quite shallow, not too defined, but definitely there. It will help the bowls sit well and also help them stack well. Once I've trimmed around the outer of the foot, I trim to define the outer shape of the bowl. And now I trim away the clay inside the foot ring. I want the foot ring to be deep enough to allow me to glaze the base of my bowl. Now I smooth the surface. I really want to make sure that the foot ring is not rough. I'm using a slightly damp sponge, and then I'll go over the surface with my flexible rib. And then I smooth the foot ring. Then I set the bowl aside to dry and bisque fire. For functional tableware like this, I like to keep it simple. I'm glazing in a simple satin glaze. I glaze by pouring my glaze into a bowl that's slightly bigger than the bowls that I'm glazing. And once glazed, I load my bowls into the kiln and fire. So here they are, my signature pasta bowls. So if either you want to make a pasta bowl or you're searching for your own signature style, I hope that this video has been useful. And if you want to make larger bowls, check out my video on making a larger fruit bowl. As always, happy making!